Well, hello, God's good people. Welcome back. I pray that y'all are all doing well. So I started another series. It's from the list that the Lord had given me when He initially told me to go ahead and start YouTube. And of course, that list grows. And so I've been sharing about building character. You know, when you come against opposition in life or things happen, I'm just sharing what the Lord taught me in hopes that it will be a blessing to you. And I'm just doing it out of obedience. So last time then I shared about the don't quit. Essentially, you know, and a lot of times you'll see a person on a road and you wonder, why is it working for that person and it's not working for me? And we serve the same God. You know, I think I'm doing the same thing, but what's the problem, right? You've got these questions, so you can definitely listen to that. But in this one, I want to now talk about what about when you feel like you just don't have enough? You know, just in day-to-day things. You know, I remember many years ago, Derek and I have been married for 12 years, and this was years before I met him. So it's many years ago, as I say. Then I was going through a financial challenge. Pretty much. I mean, I had a job, I was making good money, but I had a lot of responsibilities and things were just tight. You know, I had good credit, it was paying things off. It's just that when I paid things off and budgeted and tithe and all that, there wasn't much left over. You know, you do your groceries and money just ran out pretty much. And of course, I think rebudgeting differently could be, you know, done as well. But, you know, you want to live semi-decent or definitely decent. And it was just a stretch. Okay. And so in my situation, I just remember I didn't have funds for lunch. I'm working. Money has run out. I got to eat. And I'm like, Lord, you said even in the time of famine, I would have more than enough. I would have more than enough. I've obeyed you. I'm living where you told me to live. I'm doing what you told me to do. I'm being mindful and responsible of my finances. And still, there's lack. There's not enough, I should say. And you said even in the time of famine that I wouldn't lack. So I asked for your provision. And I remember the Lord saying in my heart, it was lunchtime. And I remember the Lord saying in my heart, go to Chipotle. Many years ago. Go to Chipotle. And so I said, okay, got in the car, went to Chipotle, and it was in my heart, order everything that you desire. Okay. And I'm thinking, Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this, but I trust you. I'm obeying God, right? I already know there's not any funds on my card. I didn't do the the overdraw or whatever you call that. I didn't like all the fees, being responsible. Credit card was not an option. There was nothing to use on that. And so I go up to the counter. I placed the order for everything that I wanted. I got my, what was it? I don't know if I did the shredded beef or the chicken or whatever it was. And then it's extra when you add more to it. And I wanted the avocado too. The Lord had put it in my heart, order everything you want. He was like, you want avocado on that too? Yep, sure do. And top it with this and that. And he said, do you want anything, to drink with that? I said, yep, sure do. I'll take that to drink. And you want the chips in it? Yep, I'll take that too. I took everything that I desire because that's what the Lord told me to do. So I did. We get to the counter to pay, to the end of to pay at the register. And I'm standing there and he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. And I've got the debit card in my hand. I'm like, Lord, maybe you're going to create something with this debit card because I don't know. And so he says, you're paying with the debit card? I says, I am. He said, well, the machines are broken today, and so it's on the house. I had no idea. And I got everything my heart's desired because I obeyed God and he provided for me. And he does that all the time. You know, he's always providing. He does not change. He provided in famines in the days of old, and he provides now. And I remember even growing up, my mom, you know, I remember we didn't have anything. I mean, we grew up not poor, but this particular time, money ran out and there were no groceries. There was no food. And she's like, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. I fixed this breakfast. This is it. And my dad's at, you know, he's working. My mom, you know, she's at home. We're headed to school. We have breakfast, all that kind of stuff. And it's her story, so I'm sure she can tell it better than me. But when the end of the day comes, you know, we've had dinner and everything, and the Lord taps her on the shoulder and said, hey, you ate. Yeah. You ate. Yeah. God, we ate. There was no food in the pantry, not a can, not anything. And God created food. Now, I know for some people, this is over the top, and it's like, what? But because I lived through it, and because I saw it, and because we believe God, and we still believe God, he hasn't changed. We haven't changed our position of faith in God. So you have to get in your mind, renew your mind, transform your mind into thinking like how God thinks about your situation. He provides. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're a part of the statistic, you're a part of God's kingdom. Be a part of that statistic. God's kingdom, operate from that side where there's provision, there's more than enough, there's no lack. Even in the time of famine, you have more than enough. God always provides. Obey him. Just obey him. Y'all be blessed. I could go on and on. Even Jesus told the disciples, right? When they said, these people hungry, and Jesus said, well, feed them. And they said, well, they started counting how much money they had. This is about all we have. Tell the people to sit down, because Jesus already knew what he was going to do. And of course, we read the stories about how he fed the crowds, the multitudes with fish and bread, and how it multiplied. And then they had leftovers, right? So he does not change. You have to believe in the God that you've read about in the Bible, that you've accepted as personal Lord and Savior. You don't have to go out in the streets and do things that are not pleasing to God in order to get money, whether it's stripping, dancing at a club, being pimped out, or being the pimp if you're a guy listening to this, or shacking up with somebody, or thinking that you need a +1 in order to do things and function. You only need God's provision. And his provision, he says, blesses you. It makes you rich without having to work hard for it like that. The blessings of the Lord maketh rich and add no sorrow. That sorrow is, if you look at another translation, you don't have to work hard for it. You don't have to sweat hard for it. I didn't sweat hard to eat at Chipotle all that I wanted. I just obeyed God, got in my car, my air-conditioned car, in this heat where I live, drove to Chipotle, which is just a little while away, you know, a couple minutes away is what I mean, and placed my order like God put in my heart. You want this to it? You want that? Yep. Add that, and I knew it was extra for it. You want something to drink? Yep. Imagine if I didn't realize the abundance of provision that God had. I would have skimped trying to do it based on my provision, and I would have missed out on such a full meal. So y'all be blessed. Take that, chew on that, and be blessed, and know that God always provides. Trust him.